Hey, it's Tuesday, 8 p.m, and it's episode 4 of the Euro 2020 show. I'm James.
And I'm Ash.
And we have a great show coming up for you tonight.
That's right, we have one of Singapore's legends of the game. In fact, we're so proud of him. Aleksandar Duric will be joining us on the show today to discuss all the major games.
And we have a Liverpool fan, a FIFA fan, and Singapore two-time SEA Games gold medalist Rui Yong will be joining us to talk about fantasy football. But most importantly,
we are also giving away a Virgil van Djik signed jersey. You know, speaking of Rui Yong, I think he would definitely want to win this. But this is especially for you guys out there who have been supporting us, right, James? We're so grateful for you guys who've been watching the show, and that's why we want to reward you with a signed jersey for one of the best currently in the game, even though he's not in the Euros, right? So stay tuned for all this coming up right now. Let's go!
Hey, welcome back. With us today, we have one of Singapore's greatest ever goal-scoring footballers, none other than Aleksandar Duric. Alex, thank you for joining us today. Keeping busy during this pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, still as a football. I'm a principal of Active SG Football Academy, so basically, still trying to adjust ourselves in the sense of the trainings. We still do a lot of online virtual sessions with the kids just to get them, still doing something at least at home for now.
And Active SG, I guess, has a role to play in Unleash the Raw, the Goal 2034, as people probably know it.
Yeah, I think I'm sure that all Singapore know about this already. Yes, we have some plans in some of the pillars, which one is already come out. So that basically my job mostly will be with the primary schools. Try to, usually, I mean, we should then do as much we can to get the kids to play football. That's a first step, which one I think is so important in the football. So we're trying to get an opportunity to every child, whatever it's girl and boys, together to play and try to enjoy playing football.
So what would be your message if there's parents watching at home today thinking about their kids and wondering about a career in football in the future? Do you think it's something that we will see improving in the years to come?
Well, I can say that is as you can see that Singapore football is still number one sport. Whatever is happening, we still follow football. So for the Parents' Day, I'm hope that they will come out and send the kids to play football, and because it's a team sport. Something which one is interesting things is for the kid to come out and play, having fun, meeting new friends. Mixture of the race and religion, which one is that's where we are as a country, and plus you can learn a lot of life values through the sport. I think this as much we know that it's in schools, school is so important, but I always believe that with a good balance, I think both things can work together.
Perfect. So without further ado, though, we're the Euro 2020 show, so we got to talk about some football here. So Ash, which were the games that stood out to you in the last couple of days?
What a very interesting couple of days, guys. I mean, Portugal, Germany for sure. If you guys watched the game, Germany waited late to really come back. I mean, of course, Ronaldo scored, but it wasn't quite enough. Kai Havertz, to me, was actually I would say one of the stars of the game. He was able to convert. Alex, what do you make of the game?
I really believe that. Actually, I went for draw. I thought there would be draw game, but I think the two own goals didn't really help Portugal. They started very well. I think that in the longer the game was progressing, these own goals really didn't help them. They really struggled after that. And but I can say that Germany really came out and play good. They play good football. I can say even against France. If you watch the first game, they play really well. I believe they play much better than France in some part of the game.
They're just lacking that little bit of cutting edge the first game, and they seem to find it this game, Yeah,
I mean, definitely they are, scoring 4 goals against Portugal, never easy, whatever, nobody can score this many goals against them because, but they show they are still the Germans team, as always, and you really are, they are the team, they are, if you look at their names, and they have a good players, but as a team, as a unit, they are so strong.
Can they win it though? Can they win the
But
Euro?
Germany is always one of the favorites,
Yeah.
to be honest. You know, they never give up. We know that through the years and decades, and German football is like that's how they are. They are even. I read somewhere. I think Miller said that is you know, we don't have a stars,
Yes.
but
We
we
have
have
a
a team, and it's that's what is that's what they win. That's what they win the tournaments. You can have an individual that can help, but if you don't have a full team behind, then it's difficult.
So maybe that game, the result in terms of the outcome wasn't so much of a shock, but the score obviously was. But in the other game in the group, there was a real shock. Hungary,
Yeah.
they took it to France.
Well, to be honest, when I saw the crowd and they're playing in at home turf, you know, it you know really give them big boost. As a player, you always want to play against with a full crowd, and that's what happened. And France, I think France also came into the game thinking this will be easy game for them. They find very difficult to break down the Hungarian team, and then Hungary, after scoring goal, they just got a big boost, and plus the home fans was behind them all the way. And but I knew that France will score sooner or later because they have so much. They are the team who have so many individual players who can really give you a lot of problems. Mamba is like he's the fastest guy. Nobody can stop him. If you give him the little bit of space, he's gone. But if you look at the France team, generally they are really strong from the back to the front.
But we were talking before the show, they maybe just haven't quite clicked yet. Even against Germany, they won, but they didn't look as fluid as they did at the World Cup, and this game again.
Yes, same. I think they're having the problem to find this momentum as a team. I think they are glints and day and here, but I think if they want to really go further, I mean, to the final, which one they are the favorite one.
Yep.
They really need to play much more better football, and from the first whistle to the last. And I think they can, because I think when is the tough games coming up, I think they will step up also with the tempo and probably play much better football what is in the moment.
So talking about teams playing great football from start to finish.
Someone here is not very happy. We're talking, of course, about England and Scotland. What a game, James. I mean, for me...
What a game.
What a
when
game.
I had so many England fans back home complaining that they watched the game, and I was like, you try living in Singapore, waking up at 3 a.m. to watch this game.
Well, to be fair, Scotland had some, standout players, Billy Gilmore being one of them. Unfortunately, he's been tested, he's COVID-19 positive now, so I'm not sure how that's
He's taken a couple of the England players with him as well.
Oh, apparently, some of them are in isolation. You see, these are the times, pandemic times. But yeah, I mean, here we have, what do you make of the game, Alex?
As always, traditionally, Scotland and England, that's one of the tough and best games to watch, to be honest. I think none of them wanted to lose, or so fair enough they draw.
The anger, I think.
I know, but I can say that I still don't see England to go very far. Honestly, I think they are as a team.
What does he know? What does he know?
Yeah, they're not scoring. I mean, here the key is
what's going on?
He wasn't even in the first game. He wasn't really good enough.
Somehow the team isn't set up right around him. And,
I felt that is always with England is this chemistry as a players together as a team. They don't have this chemistry like what another teams have. They have a lot of players which one you always think when you look at the list and the bench, you think they have one of the best players.
You go 11 to 11 against that Scotland team, they should beat them every day of the week.
But I think our problem is because we watch too much EPL, and then those players in the EPL, and then we think this is players, but EPL is a totally different story. There's a league with a lot of foreign players, and it's a flow of the game is different. But then when you come internationally, when they step in as a team, show that England is still not the team which one we believe they are.
You do wonder sometimes, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, you look at someone like Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, Mason Mount, and you say, so when they play next to Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez, Kai Havertz, they look like world-class players, but then when they play next to the other English players, are they being lifted by their club teams in a way that they're not by their international
I mean, they are
colleagues?
definitely improved so much by playing alongside of those players you just mentioned. So that's why I said I think we are mixing this the league performance with the national team, and then somehow they can't bring these same games what they do in the league to the national team. Even Keane, he's been scoring so many goals in the league. but really struggling on the European Championship so far.
So Scotland celebrated this like a victory, even
Like
though
they
they don't
won the
seem
World
to
Cup.
they don't seem to realize this leaves them bottom of the group.
They're still struggling
and needing to beat Croatia to get through, and that this result actually put England through.
Yes.
And it was interesting because the comment that Gareth Southgate made was, if we had drawn against Croatia and beat Scotland and had 4 points, you'd all say we were doing brilliant.
Yeah.
We beat Croatia, draw against Scotland, and it's a national disaster.
But the Scotland, I mean, the last game, I mean, they're playing now against Croatia in Glasgow. They're playing at home. I'm not sure if they're going to be allowed the fans like what is the rest of Europe, but if they have a fans behind,
They will.
you know, in Scotland, you know, those I saw the fans in what they did in London, destroyed the London. So I have a feelings, you know, in Glasgow they will really bring them, you know, extra as an extra player to really give everything to beat Croatia. And looking at Croatia coming into tournament, I think really they struggle. They don't have enough, players. Which one is, you know, they
team's
can,
got a little bit too old now.
Too old,
it's
yes.
kind of phased out. Yeah. So I wasn't the only one who enjoyed the game.
It was Gary Lineker as well. I mean,
Yeah,
he
but
made
the-
a remark on Twitter, right?
I think he was
saying-
being sarcastic, though. I'm
He must have
assuming
been,
he was
yeah.
being sarcastic. But there are some people who believe England's going to win, right?
There we go, like Phil Foden being one of them. Obviously, he said, I read this on The Sun, I believe, one of the major UK tabloid newspapers.
Great source of
Fantastic.
fake news, but this one was true.
It was true though. He went ahead to say that if England were to win the Euros, the entire team would dye their hair blonde just to follow him.
It seemed like a very strange timing to put that out.
Exactly.
If you put it out after you beat Croatia, yeah, but you put it out when you just sputtered against Scotland.
You know, I read also another thing that his hair was not modeled after Eminem or anyone. He actually modeled his hair after Aguero, his teammate in Man City, which doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I mean, that's
I
still
thought it's
Foden.
a Gascon.
There we go. We all thought that as
Because
well.
I watched him, he had this kind of color before when he was a player.
Exactly.
Well, another player that we learned a little bit more about this week was Jack Grealish.
Yes.
Singing Robbie Williams and...
Yeah, so Jack Grealish has been doing the media rounds this week because, you know, players, they tend to do media press conferences. So this week was Jack Grealish's turn. Unfortunately, he hasn't had time to actually, you know, do a little bit of homework. So they actually asked him a question. I think the journalist asked him something about, do you know what an encyclopedia is? Which is, you know...
I think he said you were called an encyclopedia
of football. And he didn't know what the word encyclopedia
I think
meant.
we've got the clip now, yeah?
But Dean Smith also says you're an encyclopedia of football. Where does that come from?
A what?
An encyclopedia of football.
I don't know what that means.
We know what an encyclopedia is. So basically you have an encyclopedic knowledge of football, so you know everything there is to know about football. So an encyclopedia is a book that has descriptions of every word and thing and everything else in it. And that in terms of football, you have an encyclopedic knowledge.
Anyway, moving on. So the other game in the group, Croatia, Czech Republic. What did you make of that one, Alex?
Well, I can say that, you know, Croatia, as I just mentioned, is really all department around it, they're weak. I think Slovakia was much more fitter, much more faster, much more. But in the end, we saw the penalty, which when they consider Croatia, it was a soft penalty.
The return of the world's best defender.
Yeah, I mean, he was
self-anointed.
yeah, he was injured, but then, you can see in this picture, I think these days with this elbow so high up, and this is a clear penalty with all this. Where we have technology now using, it wasn't much question.
No one
about it.
appealed. No one's remotely.
Yeah.
It kind of caught everyone by surprise.
Yeah.
When you look at it in slow motion, you kind of go, okay, I can see why it was given.
Yeah.
But it was just at the time. Was it handball? You know.
Yeah. So.
But Croatia came back into it eventually.
In the end was.
Scored.
Yeah. That was a good actual result for them. They are still kind of into the tournament. They're still, you know, hanging
they will
there.
fancy
To
their
be honest,
chances against Scotland.
Yeah.
If they had lost the game and Scotland only needed to draw, it could have been different.
Yeah,
but they're still in
there.
it.
Yep.
So that was match day 2. That brings us on to match day 3 and 2 of your favourites, Ash.
My favourite. Okay, so obviously we were talking about Wales here, given the fact, you know, we have a bit of a story here. What a game, though, I have to say. Italy obviously bringing in all the fantastic stuff they've been doing this tournament. The Welsh, unfortunately, I feel maybe they were peaking, they were leaving their best for later. What do you think, Alex?
Well, first of all, I have to say I'm an Italian, big
Oh,
Italy fan.
there we have.
Huge. Honestly, I don't know if in my life before I was in Italian, because all my kids have Italian names.
Oh.
Yes.
Right?
Always been in Italy. One of my son carried the name of Alessandro Del Piero. So was one of my favorite player. So I can say they are the really, let's say, dark horse of the tournament. They are really, really good. Even in this game, they probably changed. I think 8 players was already from the bench came in, and they still play the same system, they're holding the ball, they're so good, they are so compact, they are really moving around. Wales also definitely also changed players, because I think the tournament is so long.
For Wales it was more, they only changed 3 or 4, and only the players that were on yellow cards to avoid suspensions, right? Because they actually, the manager said they wanted to try to keep momentum, but they were happy with the performance.
Yeah, I think there was a both team. It was quite good. Good game. In the sense, as a tournament where they start like this, none of these teams want to lose big margin, so they are kind of always keep tight. But how the tournament progressing, I think we'll see much more better games, more drama than at the moment what we see in the first part of the tournament.
And with Wales only losing 1-0, Switzerland put the final nail in the coffin of Turkey here. Shaqiri with 2 goals. And that took Switzerland into 3rd place. And at the time, they were waiting to see if it would be good enough. But with last night's results,
they are in.
It's definitely good enough they're through. But Ash, you're not going to get to wear your Turkey shirt
Unfortunately,
again.
I won't get to wear Turkey. Very disappointing performance. I said it in previous episodes. Hopefully, they come back in the next Euros, however it goes. But Shaqiri's goal was fantastic. I saw that. Yeah, that's the mark, I guess, of a player who really knows how to change the game.
Did you get a chance to watch some of the Turkey games, Alex?
Yes, I did. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. As a team, I think you can see the hunger there, and they try, but every time they come in the big stage, except the World Cup was where they really,
and when they were completely
performed, with without. I guess there wasn't under much pressure at that time, but now playing in European Championship, and the Turks, as I know as a fans, they're crazy and they're really aggressive to their players.
They thought that Azerbaijan, it wasn't Istanbul, but Azerbaijan, quite close. They actually thought they had a kind of home advantage because of how many fans they had going there. It just didn't turn out that way.
No, they really, unfortunately, they didn't have a really good tournament, but it's happened. And end of the day, they're out.
Yeah. So this is what Group A looks like at the end. Italy comfortably through as the winners, Wales in 2nd, and Switzerland, as we said just now, they have confirmed got a best 3rd place, so they will be going through into the next round. Yeah. And Turkey, 1 goal scored and on their way home. Group B, Belgium. What's your thoughts on Belgium?
Belgium. Belgium, number 1 team in the world at the moment. They have a players. Lukaku is in the best shape and best form in ever. I think he's really carried the team. Whatever he's scoring or he's setting up goals, holding really well. Ball for the team to come up. They have so many players. If you look at the bench, it's so scary. There's so many good players just sitting on the bench, not yet even playing.
And because they had qualified, they were even able to give De Bruyne most of the game. They gave Hazard got a chance to play as well.
Yeah,
I was
waiting for him to see him.
Full game as well, right?
Yeah. He didn't play much anyway in Real Madrid, so it's good to see him.
They just seem like they're just coming together. Yeah?
They are really gearing up for the rest of the tournament. They will be there. I think they will be there. Are they going to be in final? We'll see. You never know. But they are one of the really another favorites.
So Lucas Hradecki, who was the hero against Denmark, we were making fun of Wojciech Szczesny on one of the previous shows for being the first goalkeeper ever in European Championship history to score an own goal. Now we have a second. As they say, it's like London buses, right? You wait forever for one and they come along. And unfortunately for Finland, that great result against Denmark, but then 2 defeats now, has left them right on the brink. We'll show the table in a second. We'll see whether or not they get through. One team that has recovered and got through, Denmark.
Well, I can say that we all know what happened in the first game, but I think the second game where they play, they really show the real team what Denmark can be. And if you look at the Denmark team, there's a lot of these players is playing overseas and for the big clubs. They show how strong the national team is, Denmark at the moment, and they are playing good football. They are I think so far I think they should be happy with the results they had, and and they qualify already. So it's good.
So here's the table, and that big win against Russia really swung them through, and it helped a lot. The irony of this tournament, we were just talking about Switzerland waiting to hear if they would get through with 4 points. Well, Denmark got through with 3 points.
Yes.
But they have got through with that nice win. So Belgium through as group winners, Denmark in second, and Finland hanging on. And unfortunately for them,
they have to wait for
-2 and 3 means they, at this point, with 3 groups played, they're in the worst position of the 3. We'll show you Group C in a second, which means they need 2 teams out of D, E, and F in third place to be in a worse position to go through. So Finland looking unlikely to go through.
Yeah.
Group C?
Fantastic stuff. I mean, I already said in the last episode I wanted Denzel Dumfries on my fantasy team, and I think the Netherlands have been showing, what they're worth. I think they haven't been very impressive in the last couple of tournaments. I think this tournament, Alex, you would have to say,
much
showing,
better.
Right?
Much better than the previous tournaments and the previous qualification for the tournaments. They struggle really as a team.
Yeah.
I read so many times that the Dutch players is not really friendly against each other in the dressing room, so that's why the national team struggles. So I think they have a very good coach. I think he put a really good team. The players, I think that I watched the game bit slow.
Considering how much pace they got in the team, they move it very slowly.
So I don't know in the rest of the tournament when they really face the much tougher opponent how they can react, but so far so good. I think there's a much better team, which when we saw in the last previous, what you just mentioned, last previous couple of tournaments.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't even make it to the World Cup last
you're
time,
right?
But they haven't really had a test yet in this tournament. Some people may have been tested.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the
The best
2020 photo. Okay, this defines the kind of era we're living in. Obviously, 3 fans wearing vaccine names at the back of their jerseys. Have you gotten vaccinated, Alex, yet?
Yes, I did. I'm old man.
one?
I'm old man, so I was in here.
You must have been a few months ago, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You got Moderna.
Yes, I like they also have a social distance.
Yeah.
I'm over on this side here. For those of you doing vaccine envy, I think that's a thing now, apparently, right?
I did. I've done my.
Great stuff.
Austria last night won the crucial game against Ukraine, which I think both teams would have been looking at and saying, this is the game we need to win to get through the group. Yes. And they got through, and that puts Ukraine in a precarious position, which is interesting because they've scored goals. They've scored 4 goals already.
Yeah. I thought Ukraine. To me, Ukraine was a favorite to win the game. But you see, in football, doesn't work like that.
So here's where we're at in this group. Netherlands were actually already through before last night, and Northern Macedonia were actually already out because of the head-to-head being the decider, had nothing to play for. So Austria gets second place, Ukraine third, and again, similar to Finland, they're waiting, but they're in a better position than Finland with the -1 goal difference. So they only need one team to be worse than them coming out of the bottom side. So that takes us through what we've got so far. You can see 3 groups finished, 3 groups still to play. And this is where it starts to get interesting. These are the 6 games we have left in match day 3. And of course, a couple of them will immediately stand out. But let's kind of look group by group here. This group is really on a knife edge. We talked about it a little bit just now. Czech Republic and England, whoever wins tops the group. If it's a draw, Czech Republic top the group. Croatia, Scotland, if someone wins, they will definitely go through. If it's a draw, probably neither of them go through, because with 2 points as a third place, you could both be out. Yeah. What's your picks here, Alex?
And before the tournament, it was easily to say that England was going to through this close ice and they will be through. But now, I mean, they're still in. They will go through. But to me, England to beat Czech Republic, and I have to go for Scotland. Even I like Croatia so much. That's from my country,
really?
so yes.
Yeah.
I think Scotland playing at home is. I think have a little bit more edge to win the game.
So you think Scotland will win, which would put them up to 4 points, would take them through as a best third place team, and England would top the group, yeah?
Yes.
Your thoughts, Ash? What are you going for?
I think England's going to top the group as well. I was hearing a podcast this morning about Czech Republic. They were sort of also favourites in their country going through, which is quite interesting. But I still see, I'm going to go with Alex. I think England is going to top the group, but I don't know about Scotland, to be honest. I think their run is over for now. Their fans are fantastic, but I just don't see it for them. Yeah.
I see the Scotland team really never been better with the names of the team.
Yeah,
they're very young
great
players.
players,
The players who are playing in also for some big clubs in Europe.
Yeah.
And I can say that I like them. So draw against England is never.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It wasn't like just like they really battle.
But Scotland have a long, proud tradition of going out of tournaments in the group stages. So I hope it continues for one more tournament. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go after that. Just because they enjoyed that, they got their moment, right? They had their moment of excitement there. Let them go back to Scotland and enjoy it one more time. Sweden, Scotland, Spain, Poland. Spain on a knife edge here. Because just to go through the ramifications here, Spain playing Slovakia.
Wow.
If Spain draw, because you saw the two groups earlier, they would go through because it would be 3 points with a 0 goal difference, which would put them ahead of Finland and Ukraine. So they only need a draw to go through, potentially, unless Poland can win. And Poland against Sweden qualified. So potentially Spain, they only need a draw as long as Poland don't win. How are you seeing this one playing out? Poland against Sweden, Spain against Slovakia?
Now is the question: what kind of team Sweden going to put in for the game?
Because it was interesting
they can also rest some players and they help
right?
Poland to have an easier game.
So I had the same thought when you talked about the Czech Republic just now. The Czech Republic, Sweden, these are teams that don't have a lot of depth.
Yep.
Once they've qualified, do they just rest 3-4 players to make sure?
I'm definitely looking. They will rest some of the players. Key players probably they will rest, and then. But for Spain, I think.
You got to take Spain to beat Slovakia.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're strong. They're still a strong team.
They just need a striker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. At
Morata
the moment, they're
Morata
hanging on the Morata, which when he doesn't perform, even on the club level, he's not that striker. And this Spain actually always had a good strikers. I don't know, this time in the tournament they come into with no real striker. So
do you think they feel pressured
struggle.
From the previous Spanish teams that have won the Euros?
I don't know about that. Always the now new fashion about coming into the tournament with a fake. We call fake striker. They're getting the attacking midfield to become strikers. So
there's a few teams.
Doesn't really work for them at the moment.
There's a few teams doing fake strikers right now. I think England did against Scotland as well. So who are we picking to go through here?
I say Sweden and Spain.
Sweden and Spain, and then that would mean then Slovakia dropping into the third place with 3 and potentially with a negative goal difference. So this could be one here. If Spain can beat up on Slovakia, that could help Finland and the Ukraine out a little bit. And then the last group, the one we're all really interested in, anything can happen here.
Easy.
France obviously playing against Portugal. And potentially could put Portugal in a bit of trouble here if France could win by 2-3 goals, push that goal difference down. Germany, of course, have Hungary, and Germany know that they still do need at least a draw to get through. How do you see this one playing out?
I will definitely go for draw, France and Portugal. Germany definitely to win against Hungary. I don't see that Portugal will be playing same game what they did against Germany. I think there was too many goals for them. So I'm sure they will sit back a little bit more, be more compact and try to defend more. I don't know, but that's my feeling, but that's why I'm thinking go for draw. And Germany, to beat Hungary.
So that would mean Germany would go through as group winners, if that happens. France in second, Portugal in third, but with 4 points, relatively safe, right? So that is actually our Predictogast goal scorer for this week. So if you go onto our IG or onto our Facebook, there is a post up there. You can find the post. If you comment in there, predict the name of the last goal scorer in the Portugal versus France match, and you can win a Portugal or France jersey. Now, just before we move on here and before we let Alex go, we already know some of the games in the next stage. So we have a little wall chart over here, and we're just going to take you through how some of these permutations may play out.
And we're here at the wall chart. Alex, we're here to look at the permutations for Euro 2020. Let's start with the quarterfinal possibilities. First, of course, the winner of Game 4 will face 2, which would be Italy and Austria, one of the winners of this, against Belgium. I know you're confident about Italy, so
Yep.
you think they're going to, do well?
Italy, Belgium, I can say it already.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm
Italy-
definitely confident that Italy will beat Austria, and whatever team come against Belgium, I think they're going to struggle.
So you think that Italy have the possibility to go all the way to the semis, actually?
Well,
if they...
looking the fixture, I think they have a possibility to go all the way. I hope to
all
the
the
final.
way, as spoken like a true
I'm Italian fan.
There you go, the Italiano. Right, let's look at quarterfinal 3, the possibility, the teams that are going through, probably the winner of 3, which would be the winner of Netherlands, and we don't know yet who this is going to be, as well as the winner of matchday 1, which is, I don't know, do you think Wales and Denmark, who's going to win this one?
This is the tough one.
Yeah.
Both teams is kind of it's playing in good football, and I would say Denmark for me.
Why Denmark?
I would say Denmark. I don't know. I have this feeling
you
that
have a
Denmark.
feeling.
Yeah, I remember this Euro in 1992 when they didn't even qualify, but after they qualified, they won the Euro. So it's like some of the team. So far, they play. I like the football they play.
But can
as
they
a team.
beat the Netherlands, you think, if they were to go through?
That's a. It would be tough, but it's somewhere the balance there. Both teams is like a really
Yep.
at the moment in similar level of football. So you never know. Yeah, they make it happen.
So we never know, as you say in football, right? Well, thank you very much, Alex.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ash. Now it's time for the installment 4 of our special SPL Skills Challenge. Amir Roldan from Lion City Sailors is still in the lead after 3 weeks, but let's go down to OTH and see who's up player 4.
Which challenge are you looking forward to today?
I'll say the penalty shootout because I love kicking the ball, taking penalties.
Okay, second question. Who is your tip to win the Euros?
I'll say France. Yeah.
Why?
Because my favorite player Mbappe is playing.
Oh, I was going to ask you, okay, besides Mbappe, any other players you're looking out for in these Euros?
Ronaldo. Yeah. Hopefully he will win the Euros.
How do you feel about today's challenge?
I feel disappointed to have done better, especially the crossbar. Was hitting the crossbar during the warm-up, but I guess couldn't hit it during the actual thing. Overall, unsatisfied, but we move.
Some great action at OTH with the men's skills challenge. Let's have a look at how the men fared this week. Here we have the skills leaderboard. I mean, of course, we've seen Nicky Melvin Singh show a bit of his skill there on the pitch. He's now third with 80 points. Of course, Taufik and Amiruddin still leading the way, but we still have 4 players coming up. Very exciting, big stars in the SPL as well. So we'll see how they do. But before we go to our very special guest today, I want to remind you guys that we're giving away a Virgil van Djik signed Liverpool jersey. In order to find out how to win, you guys have to stay till the end of this show. I know Soh Rui Yong, you're very excited because it's one of your favorite teams. Fair enough, you're a Liverpool fan now. Of course, we have today with us a 2 times gold SEA Games medalist with us, Soh Rui Yong. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's a pleasure to have you. First and foremost, tell us how your prep are for the SEA Games.
Oh, thank you. Preparing for the 2021 SEA Games, which was scheduled to be held in November. I think we are having some possible delays on that thanks to the current situation in the pandemic. But I think as an athlete, we do what we can. We try and get better every week. We try and get better month on month. So have the baby steps. Have the small. In this case, I would say have the small picture in mind rather than worry too much about what's happening. Especially in things that you cannot control. So yeah, I think week to week we just focus on getting a little bit better, and hopefully everything plays out in the end.
And you've qualified for the 1500?
Yes, so I think I'm definitely better known as a marathon runner, but we haven't had a chance to really travel. We haven't had any marathons locally, so I think a switch to the track where that there are less participants, it's a more controlled environment. We don't have 50,000 people doing a track meet, for example, at least here. We were able to compete at the shorter distances, which is why I decided to try the shorter events to see how I fared, build a little bit of speed. Training went well, ended up making the SEA Games in the shorter events. So looking forward to playing my hand at some of these shorter events, which I don't usually do,
And other events you're playing your hand at, you're a bit of an esports man, yeah? You're a bit of a gamer, yeah?
Picked up a little bit last year. All that competitive energy had to go somewhere when there weren't any competitions.
So what are you playing now?
So I play both FIFA and Dota.
Okay.
Yeah, I played a lot more. I played FIFA to the extent of the FIFA it's called the FIFA Ultimate Team. Yeah. So that's when you're going crazy. You're trying to sign the best players, trying to get all these FIFA coins. But I think it takes a lot of a big time and energy investment. So I'll actually get tired playing the weekend league week after week, and then when I have to go for my run, I'll be I'm so tired.
You're gonna get a David James joystick injury at some point.
But it's not even the fingers. It's the emotional energy you go into it, because you're yelling at the screen when things are not going your way. It's it's a real football game.
As a Spurs fan, yelling at the screen a lot when things are not going my way. But
I mean it was so bad. I was yelling vulgarities at the screen. My dad walked in with a golf club. He was like, "You need to stop this game, man." So this year with getting back on track and competing and training a little bit harder, I think I put FIFA on the shelf for the time being. I still play it with friends for completely friendly social purposes. Pro clubs, you can create your own player and play with 4 or 5 other friends. But weekend leagues on the shelf for the time being.
So you were too violent and aggressive at FIFA, so you decided to play Dota
instead.
Follow that. And if this is too violent, you'll move on to what? Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty or?
But I think because running is such an individual sport, right? So I enjoy the team aspect of esports a little bit. So I enjoy football, but playing football doesn't quite mesh very well with athletics, because you can get hurt. You can get ankle injuries or knee injuries. I think you're quite familiar with football injuries. So, but I enjoy the team sport aspect because my you can call it my main sport, my profession is a very individual sport. We train as a team, so I think there's a little bit of team element there. But I really enjoy the team aspect of Dota and football, and you don't quite get that anywhere else. So Dota is 5-on-5 game. But you're playing with 4 other strangers a lot of the time, so with that comes his own set of frustrations. Sometimes they don't speak English, because when we play in the Southeast Asia region, you might be grouped with a couple of Vietnamese or Thais, and you may not understand what's going on, and some people can be really rude from behind the screen. And they're yelling into the mic.
We might see an esports pro here. Future esports pro.
I think esports. I think the average age is a little bit younger. I'm pushing 30 this year.
You're an uncle in esports.
So unless I'm super
ageism.
Not super young. But I think I enjoy it, and I'm getting better day by day. So I think it's exciting as an athlete, because you always want to pick up new skills, and when you get better, that's where the sense of self-fulfillment comes in.
Now speaking of FIFA, let's go to something that we've been talking about a lot on this show, which is fantasy football. I guess some element of FIFA.
Oh, that's my team.
It's quite similar. So let's have a look at Rui Yong's fantasy league team here. Take us through your choices here. You know, you've got a couple of interesting players. I think you're the first one to have Courtois as your goalkeeper, as our guest.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just actually moved him in for this match day just because I had a feeling he's gonna be one of the few good goalkeepers that's certain to play.
Didn't concede any goal, yeah?
Well, I think the goalkeeper might have been the first guy I picked.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether I picked from the strikers down or the goalkeeper up, but like in FIFA, Courtois is actually like one of the more, like, you call it meta, one of the more meta goalkeepers because he's like big, you know, he covers the goal quite well. He was really terrible in like FIFA 20. Like, you know, he will be the keeper that a simple cross comes in and your keeper like palms the ball into the.
Yeah.
I can see how you're picking your team here.
Yeah, so
right?
like the
With the
FIFA,
FIFA ratings.
FIFA element definitely comes in a little bit there. But I think apart from that, I don't really know how fantasy football works. Like, it's the first time I'm playing fantasy football, so definitely not the most like meta choice. Don't follow my team if you want to win. But like, for example, I picked like Kante because like, you know, like I mean Kante is a very likable guy. He's a hardworking, humble guy. I've been told by my friends who play fantasy football that he's a bad pick because like midfielders are
doesn't score a lot of goals.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, midfielders are not supposed to score goals, but I think that's how the rating system works.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think I like Wijnaldum. Obviously, he's from no longer from Liverpool, but like he serves Liverpool very well. I think the match that really like immortalized Wijnaldum for me was that match against Barcelona when they came back from like 3-0 in the first leg and Wijnaldum got 2 goals. So
and you've got Robertson.
Robertson,
another Liverpool man.
Yeah, Liverpool man, exactly. The Liverpool guys are actually expensive, and like I have no Liverpool attackers because like a lot of them are from 2 of them are from Africa and 1 of them from Brazil. So yeah,
there's only really Jota.
Jota, and Jota's quite expensive. Like when I looked at it, I don't know whether their price is influenced by market demand, but he was kind of expensive. Yeah, so.
No, I think a lot of people were saying that the pricing of all the players feels very expensive this year because the challenge is, you know, we were talking before the show, you're not just trying to assemble an 11 like you sometimes do in the Premier League fantasy. You've actually got to assemble a squad because of the way the subs work. So that 100 million has to stretch to 16 players. So, you know, Ash, we talked before, put the money in the forwards, and you've spent 35 million on 3 players.
Yeah, I spent
you need 13
so much on
more.
Lewandowski and he just disappointed.
He's not scoring, huh?
He's not
and
scoring.
there's no players below 4 million.
Yeah, there's no exactly.
So it's impossible to build a team the way that you would build a team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And you suffered a little bit, Ryong, from not watching the first week of the tournament as
well.
well.
I watched the first week of the tournament, but I forgot that, I mean, I wasn't really playing for prizes here, but I had Trent Alexander-Arnold, so I actually had Robertson and Alexander-Arnold in defense. Because you know, those are the Liverpool too, and then like Trent got hurt like the day before, the match before the tournament, and I didn't take him out, so like I was losing, basically playing with like 10 players the whole way around.
That's how Liverpool felt most of the season.
The shit, guys. The shit.
The injury-plagued season.
Yeah.
Kimmich is playing well. He usually but he's playing at right back in the tournament actually, so that that's a little bit weird.
He's been playing in and out on the wing back of it. Griezmann's put a couple of goals, put a goal in against Hungary, right? So he's looking okay. And Guson's, of course, had a fantastic game.
I just subbed him in for Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, well, he's definitely going to be
he's great,
playing. He's cemented his place there.
I mean, the players I picked were more because I liked these guys. Like Griezmann has got a good story, you know, small guy, got rejected by the French system, went to Spain and like made his own, and now he's like a key player in the French team. I mean, Mbappe, who doesn't like this guy? Like,
what a guy, what a player!
Biggest young talent on the scene now. So yeah, I think that's pretty much how I picked the guys.
So just for everyone's benefit, so for what Ryong's got up here, he's actually already tried to get ahead because he had a couple of injuries in the team and players that were not on the bench, so he decided, you know, go for it, and he's got ahead on the round of 16, and yesterday already did his transfers for the weekend, which is why you'll see he actually has 4 France players here, because in the next round you're allowed to have 4 players from a team, not 3. So something to think about as you go forward. And again, we talked last week about the chips and using the chips. If you didn't use your Limitless last week, really, you got to use it this coming week before Saturday for the round of 16, because after that, you kind of lose the impact of it a little bit because the players won't be scoring. The great thing about Limitless on the round of 16 is all the big names are going to play. They're going to start their games. You're going to see, so you can pack your team with all the stars and they'll play, and then that still leaves you the wild card. So, Ryong, you're going to
Actually, I don't know how this works. This is my first time hearing of it. So
okay, so we'll
Okay,
work through this. So again, for those of you that didn't see the show last time, you have 2 chips. You have the wild card, which basically means you can just do as many transfers as you want, but whatever you do will stay permanently, and you have to stay within the 100 million. And you have the limitless, which gives you unlimited budget. So right now, my squad is worth something like 140 million euros for this game day. But after that match day, it will change back to your old team again. So the transfers are only temporary.
Okay.
And so we suggested using the limitless either this week or for the coming round of 16 to get all the big names in your team, but then to save the wild card for the 16 to the quarterfinals, because 8 teams will go home. And that can be quite difficult to do your transfers because you only get 3 transfers and keep your team. You can imagine if a couple of big name teams get knocked out, you could suddenly find, you need to do 5 transfers and you don't have the players to do it. So this is one for you to plan ahead for, Yong. You need to get ready for this one, yeah?
Thanks for the tips.
We're going to see you flying up the table in a come from behind
Hopefully
victory.
I'm not doing too well at the moment, so only way is up, right?
It's something for you to think about when you're out there running. You can think about
the team,
your team, and try not to swear too many vulgarities at the players when they're on the pitch. Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you very much.
Best of luck with your SEA Games prep.
Yep.
And go win us another gold medal for Singapore, eh?
That would be the dream. Yeah.
So now we're going back to OTH for our latest female skills challenger, number 4. So who's up next? Soh Rui Yong, which challenge here are you most looking forward to?
Most looking forward to the penalty challenge.
Okay, weak foot or strong foot?
Weak foot.
Weak foot. Okay, we'll look out for that one. So, European Championships. Who's going to win?
Turkey.
Okay, Turkey. Interesting place. That's a bit of an upset, but Greece won it before, so okay. And which player is going to be the player of the tournament?
Kante.
Kante. Okay, good choice. Well, let's go see what you got, HX. Good luck. Okay, HX, how do you think it went?
I thought the 1 versus 1 was quite difficult because Mira is a speedy monster. So when you go 1 versus 1 against a keeper like that, a little bit tough. Could have done better.
But that free kick will make the highlight reel, hey? We'll take that free kick.
Yes, that's right. Hit the crossbar and then went into goal.
Well done, HX. You're up on the leaderboard. Good job.
Thank you.
So a great performance there from HX, including a stunning free kick there for the highlight reel. But let's have a look at the table and we see HX. Well, she's on there, but she's not up with Ernie. So Ernie, our week 2 guest right here on the show, is still in the lead with 4 girls to go. And we are back here in the studio, but just before we get on to our quiz challenge, don't forget later on in the show, we'll be giving you the chance to win a signed Virgil van Djik Liverpool jersey. So stay tuned for that. And one person that I think would be interested in winning that Virgil van Djik signed Liverpool jersey is our audience challenger for the quiz, Brian.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. So maybe to start with, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, hi, James. Hi, Ash. My name is Brian. I'm a sales manager in a manufacturing firm.
Okay.
So as you can see, I'm an avid Liverpool fan.
Ooh.
Nice one.
Fair enough. And you've been watching the European Championships, yeah?
Yeah, well, every match. Very tired.
Every
Great
match.
stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's a good start. So who's going to win this tournament, Brian?
England
Whoa!
is coming home.
It's coming home. Is it coming home?
I'm not getting so excited about this anymore. The first show, I was
Oh,
like,
you
yeah,
got
now
some
I'm a little bit like,
positivity,
really?
yeah.
You still believe this? But okay, we'll work on that. So you know how this works, Brian. So I'm going to give you a choice of 2 envelopes. Need to get my envelopes sorted out here. Do you want envelope A or envelope B?
Ladies first, B.
Ladies first. Okay, so Ash, you are going to get envelope A. So Ash, remember, Ash hasn't seen these questions. This quiz is on Euro 2012.
You know what, James?
Okay.
I was supposed to go for this tournament, interestingly, but my parents didn't let me go to Ukraine, so I don't ask me why.
You were only like 6 years old
Yeah,
at the time,
I
right?
probably
So that's
wasn't
fair
4.
enough. Okay, fair enough. So I guess that means you know the answer to question A, because question 1, 2 countries hosted Euro 2012. One was Poland. Who was the other?
The other was Ukraine.
Where you could not go. So fair enough. That kind of that was a good start. So okay, Brian. So we're going to turn to you, and we're going to give you an easy one as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian. Who lost the final of Euro 2016 to Spain?
Italy,
Italy. Do you know what the score was?
4-0.
4-0 it was. Ooh, you got a tough one this week.
What a game! What a game that
So
one
question
was.
A. 6 players scored 3 goals, but who was awarded the Golden Boot? And I'll give you multi-choice. A. Fernando Torres. B. Cristiano Ronaldo. C. Mario Balotelli.
It was El Niño Fernando Torres.
It
He
was
won
Fernando
Golden
Torres.
Boot.
They all scored 3 goals, but he scored his 3 in just 189 minutes.
Yeah.
So he got it.
What a player as well.
So, same kind of thing, Brian, to you. Question 2. Who won the Player of the Tournament award? Was it A. Xabi Alonso, B. Andres Iniesta, or C. Sergio Ramos?
B. Andre Iniesta.
Andre Iniesta. 2-2. The game is afoot. Question
I am liking
3,
these questions, though.
Ash.
Great memories.
Who scored a famous Panenka penalty as Italy knocked out England?
Ooh, it was the Italian magician Andrea Pirlo.
It was the Italian Calvin Phillips, as he's now known. I think you'll find. Question 3, Brian. Who received a fine and a suspension for revealing sponsored underpants when he scored a goal?
Lord Nicholas Banner.
Nicholas Bentner, yeah? Okay. Lord King, just retired.
He was such a character.
Just retired,
that
which is
guy.
funny because I was sure he was going to win a golden ball
Yeah, for
any
sure.
year now, like he
Ballon
predicted.
d'Or at least.
Oh, this one's a bit tougher. I think this could be the moment here. Remember, we are undefeated. Just remember that. It may not last much longer. Question 4, Ash. Which of these teams didn't qualify for Euro 2012? It's multiple choice, which may save your skin here. Was it A, Belgium, B, Denmark, or C, Sweden? Who didn't qualify for Euro 2012?
It was Denmark.
It was not. It was Belgium, who were only ranked number 44 in the world at the time. Incredible, they're number 1 now. But Brian
might
has
be
a
the
chance
one.
to take the lead. Question 4, Brian. And it's an England question, and he's an England fan. Which England player scored the only own goal of Euro 2012? Was it A, Ashley Cole, B, John Terry, or C, Glenn Johnson?
Our ex-player, C. Glenn Johnson.
It was going to say a Liverpool fan with
Yeah,
a Liverpool player.
Liverpool,
Glenn Johnson
yeah.
against Sweden, the only own goal. Okay, so it's back to you, Ash, and you need this one to stay alive. Question 5. Which traditional powerhouse exited at the group stage alongside Ireland with 0 points?
Was it Croatia?
It was not. Brian, you have a chance to steal. Do you know the answer?
I will have to go for Netherlands.
It was the Netherlands. Brian steals a point, so it's 5-3. It's a bit of a foregone conclusion here, but we'll ask you the last question anyway, Brian. Which was the only team to take maximum points from the group stage?
Probably I will go for Czech Republic.
Ooh,
Ash, your chance to steal and get a little bit of dignity back.
Oh, I am actually wearing the jersey of the team that took maximum points. It was the Mannschaft of the Germans. They got 9 points.
It was the Germans. We'll call that a consolation goal for Ash there, because the score is 5 to Brian, 4 to Ash. The host's unbeaten streak is over. James's unbeaten streak is still going, to be clear, but Ash's unbeaten streak is over. We have a winner, Brian.
Fantastic
and Brian,
today, competitor as well.
You get a Euro 2020 jersey. Which team would you like?
England.
England jersey, there we go. So Brian's winning an England jersey. If you want to win a jersey, don't forget we have our Portugal versus France prediction competition right now in our feed, on our Instagram, on our Facebook. You can go in, predict the last goal scorer, and you could win a jersey. Quiz challenge next week.
That's right. Next week we have James, who's back. I think he's gonna win it for us again. Sorry about this week. I tried my best.
It was a good effort, but Brian, just too good for you. So thank you very much for joining us, Brian. Take care. Stay safe.
Thanks, Brian. And here's the moment you've been waiting for. Here's how to win exactly the Virgil van Dijk jersey. All you guys have to do is to leave your comments at the bottom of this post and answer this question. Which team did Virgil van Dijk join Liverpool from? That's the question. You guys have to answer it, and the correct answer, please put it below this post. We're not looking anywhere else. As I mentioned, it has to be on this Facebook video post before 8 p.m. on Wednesday. We are giving you guys 24 hours to get this done.
So remember, no other posts. It's got to be on the video feed, okay? That's it for this week, but we have another fantastic show coming up for you next week, but it will be Saturday at 8 p.m. June 26th. We'll be looking at the round of 16 matches and looking back at how the group stage is finished. And we've got some great guests again, yeah?
That's right. We have former Singapore international goalkeeper Lionel Lewis joining us in the studio.
Ooh, another tall guy for us to stand next to, yeah. But we also have Anders Appelin of Hogang United will be coming in here talking a little bit about his football career, his time in Japan, and fantasy football as well.
And you know what, guys? We have a very big one for you. As you all know, on the Euro show, we love to spoil you guys. And this Saturday, we're giving you guys a chance to win a signed Cristiano Ronaldo jersey, the biggest star in world football, I have to say, at this stage. I mean, if you're Team Ronaldo. So you have to stay tuned for all of that. It's this Saturday at 8 p.m.
Yep, so don't forget, if you have your prediction for the Portugal against France match, you can put it in on our feed to win a Portugal-France jersey. Don't forget to get your answers in by 8 o'clock tomorrow for the Virgil van Dijk Liverpool jersey, and we will see you on Saturday. Take care.
See ya.